The other one I wanted to bring up was Trump asked for PATRIOT Act expansion. So this was one that the administration is asking for a sixth measure, which is Section 311 of the Patriot Act, which imposes conditions upon transmittal of funds that are not tied to a corresponding banking relationship. And then I think who posted this? 79C. He said, sounds like they are trying to get power to prohibit peer-to-peer self-custodial non-censorable transactions. The Rage also wrote about this too as well. Stacker's commented on it. There's a lot of back and forth. My interpretation is different just based off of running it through ChatGPT. I don't have it. Let me see if I have it here. I think I do. Yeah, I have it here. So from what ChatGPT could gather and explaining it to me, it seems like they want to collect more records, share more info, report more transactions, keep a tighter watch on everything that's going on, block or restrict foreign accounts from connecting to U.S. banks. They also want to be flexible enough to apply to both traditional finance and digital assets. In simple terms, the government had an old law that was good at stopping shady banks but didn't work well for crypto. Now they're writing new rules so they can use the same powers to go after sketchy activity in both banks and digital assets. That's basically what it is, according to ChatGPT.
Yeah, I don't know enough about that.
I didn't see Siggy comment on this, so
What if
you need a lawyer.
is my Bitcoin Sparrow wallet, like, is that a bank? Is that considered a bank? Like, I don't even know how they would. It just seems like an apples to oranges comparison. Like, how would they
Well, they haven't
expand
they
that?
haven't actually done anything just yet. Like they're still going to talk about it. But to me, like if everything that ChatGPT says is true, then at some point they're just going to flip a switch. And to me, the most scary thing is like let's just say the samurai thing is the norm, and you know let's just say like you do send out a tweet or you do say something a little bit offensive online, um, quote unquote suspicious activity with whatever transaction that you're sending. This gives them precedent to do that.
Hmm.
That's how I read it, but I don't know. Maybe maybe Siggy can do a write up on it.
It's my understanding, based on the Rage's reporting, is that they're describing the need for non-custodial services to the extent, like, smart contracts or running somewhere. They need to be somehow aware of people's identities. Like it's sort of like travel rule type of reasoning, where um, they basically want to know whose money is moving. Is kind of their, and that they're, and that's the sort of the direction they're going for, is to, they want to allow these quote unquote DeFi systems to exist, but they want to have the same lack of privacy that you have in a traditional banking system. That's effective because they don't, these lawmakers have no problem with the existing system and its lack of privacy, but they do see the benefit of like more money sloshing around at higher velocity, more easily. So that's the way I'm interpreting it. Is they are they're trying to put guardrails that I think negatively impact the privacy of these systems. And then there are other takes I read, I think, from Coin Center. Coin Center seemed to have a relatively positive take on this, where they thought it was, at least in some dimensions, adding protections to developers. And maybe, I didn't read that part in detail, but I did go through this Rage part. You're likely, I mean, with most of these law things, you're going to get a mixed bag. And I almost think it was better. Uh, a lot of the ecosystem was better before we started getting quote unquote regulatory clarity. which
Careful what you wish for.
yeah, the clarity that we're getting, we might be getting clarity, but we're getting regulations, I think, that tie people's hands, and I think make it actually hard to develop these systems. It was almost better when it was ambiguous to some extent, but I mean, none of this stuff has gotten live, and the Samurai case and the Tornado Cash case, which will be the ruling, I think, will be announced on Monday, or the jury decision is expected to be announced on Monday. Are I think some sneak peeks of the future.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't. Yeah, the whole like clarity thing doesn't really bother me so much. Even the expansion part, you know, I definitely will push back against that. But I understand it. The only thing is just the language. The language always bothers me the most when it comes to this kind of stuff. Because the language can be interpreted in so many different ways when it comes to the law, and it can be used like a sword that cuts through everything. And the language that they use is probably the most, the language that they use in this is just like so wide. And I wish they would be a little bit more like, I wish it would be a little bit more defined on the types of people that they're describing, down to like nouns and pronouns. Because when they do this kind of like these expansions, they literally just cast a white net, and it doesn't really define anything. And that's the part that I have a problem with when it comes to these type of things. And that's the problem that I have the most, is because it casts a white net, and it basically just means everybody, and it doesn't actually mean anybody. Like when you cast a white net and you say everybody, then you mean literally everybody, and that's what it does. Is because then at that point you have the reason to just group up anybody and put them in there. So if anybody's listening to this who has any sort of, you know, influence, I would just say, hey man, make them actually define the people and those things. Because when you say terroristic people, or like people that are operating in bad faith, like that's at user discretion. that's like literally say North Korea, literally say these like these types of people. Like you don't have to just say like, you know. And that's what bothers me about this kind of stuff, is because like you can interpret the law in so many different ways. Anyways, Topher, you got any thoughts?
We need an internet bill of rights. Like I feel like I have a First Amendment right to interact with whoever I want to interact with, to associate with whoever I want to associate with. And then I have a Fourth Amendment right to privacy for a reasonable search and seizure. But apparently that's not enough to prevent like the government from trying to snoop in on my financial transactions. So like, yeah, like when they say things like, well, if you don't have a banking relationship that we recognize, then we have the right to spy on you. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Like where in my constitutional rights does it say that my rights only are in effect if, you know, I have a bank account with a US bank, or a banking relationship, whatever that is supposed to mean. Like, why can't I just, you know, be private? So I feel like this is going to continually be an issue until like we, on a policy level, it's just on a constitutional level, like define like what is our right to privacy. Otherwise they're going to just keep encroaching further and further. So
yeah, I also think too, like when you look at some of these other countries that are just offering better features as far as a country, I think you're just going to see more and more people just opt out and just head to those countries. I think that's what you're kind of already seeing. I think you're just going to see more and more of that as these like even Europe, I heard this week, is like clamping down on the AI stuff. So like people aren't even like, there's just more and more people that aren't even in like they're not even doing AI startups in Europe or in the UK. I'm sorry, because they're just clamping down all regulation. And it's just like, really? You're not investing in it? Like, you're not going to allow startups to thrive in the UK because you're just clamping down on regulation? And it's the same thing that I see here in the States right now, where it's just like, really? You're not going to allow yourself to be a Bitcoin country because you want to clamp down on all this? Like, you want to control it? Do you want to control this technology because you want to spy on us? And it's just a missed opportunity. And then you have all these like these other countries in the world that are just like opening their borders for these things, and it's just a missed opportunity. And I think you're just going to see more and more of that. But what do I know?
What's your bug out country, Car?
I want to stay in America. I want to raise my family here. Hopefully somebody's listening.
It's not El Salvador.
No. Anyways.
What about you, Topher? You've thought about this, it sounds like.
Oh, bug out country?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, US is still the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you can probably get somewhere remote and effectively be
Yeah.
a sovereign, just like undetectable.
US is a very big
I'm
country.
just waiting for like
Yeah.
really great leaders to step up. Like, just waiting for somebody like who's a really great leader that's like to step up. We just don't have them right now. I feel like, I hate to keep blaming the boomers, but like that generation really just needs to retire at this point. Like, probably one of the selfish generations that's ever existed on this planet. Like, they really just need to retire. Sorry.
Blaming the boomers.
I'm just saying, like, man, they just need to retire at this point. Not all of them. There's some good ones out there, but like that boomer generation, man, like, just retire. Like, make way for this next generation to go out there and like make some of these changes that you guys have really screwed up. Let us screw it. Let us screw up. It's like I'm not having no part of this talk.
Well, I don't know what to say sometimes.
Don't say nothing.
Kind of.
Let Car be the bad
It's like,
guy.
yeah, highlights from this article. Tether is the new Federal Reserve. Boomers should die.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say that. I said they retire.
Retire out back.
I said
Patriot Act
retire.
is complicated.
Hey, man, we got to keep the show lively. If I don't make these statements, who will? Come on. It's all for the algo. We haven't even said deep state once. There we go. Now we said it. Now it's going to get the clicks.